In the early 17th century, a powerful crime syndicate known as the yakuza was formed in Japan. They followed a strict code of honor, aiming to be known as virtuous, whilst running shadowy businesses such as gambling, extortion, protection rackets, and the peddling of illicit goods. As time went by, their reach grew, and their power extended throughout Japan. Their strength and security and wealth allowed them to operate publicly and uncontested. Any opposition succumbed to bribery or violence, and the yakuza remained prevalent until infighting and gang wars caused them to lose ground on their public relations. The government began pursuing them, and in recent years their once massively influential organization began to retreat to the shadowy outskirts and out of the limelight. I believe there's a certain flavor of fantasy in crime fiction. For a period of time in early American cinema, noir fiction was incredibly prevalent, and how could it not be? Casablanca is one of my favorite movies of all time, and the modern neo-noir film Drive is my absolute favorite movie of all time. Heck, noir as a genre is said by some to be a large contributor to the current aesthetic and themes of cyberpunk, and I have already talked at length about my love for cyberpunk. All that being said, there is no surprise I've written one of Forthon's major factions as a shadowy Mafia organization, headed by a mysterious robotic godfather. And that's what we'll be talking about today. Sorry to pad out this video with a history lesson, as most of the work I did on the game in the last few weeks has been pretty spoiler heavy, but I'll talk about what I can. You may have noticed this lovely purple lit building in the game's downtown segment. Let's talk about that for a moment. This is an homage to the classic idea of a crime syndicate having a front and a seemingly inconspicuous building, and I've always been pretty happy with its design. Feels appropriate letting it sit in between the Fight Club and the government warehouse. If you want a house tour of the place, there are means of getting invited inside. And by invited, I mean knocked unconscious and kidnapped for interrogation. Said interrogation is what I've been working on for the past few days, so let's cover that. It works with the basic dialogue system, just clicking answers and reading responses. However, your responses are tracked by an invisible opinion score. This score increases or decreases based on your responses. As it goes up, the Godfather finds you to be less threatening and more willing to not renovate the frontal bone of your skull with a baseball bat. As it goes down, however, the Godfather becomes cautious and views you more as a threat. The kind of threat that needs to be neatly disposed of in a body bag. But what if you manage to keep it completely neutral throughout all 5 questions? The big steel man himself might give you an employment opportunity. What? A job offer? In this economy? I thought the only ways to make money were to enforce the brutal authoritarian law, eat literal garbage, or get beat up for rich people's entertainment. You're telling me I could have just gotten a job in racketeering this whole time? Oh, and speaking of shameless monetary gain, did you know I livestream on Twitch? Every Thursday I do game dev streams, and starting this week I'll be doing random gaming streams on Saturdays too. If you're feeling charitable, then stop by, and help relieve me from the endless entropy of work and loneliness. Also, I really need to get my numbers up if I'm ever going to even dream of ad revenue, so as much as I hate to shamelessly self-promote, I'm gonna have to nicely ask that you drop a like, or a comment, or a subscription, whatever you want, we're all gonna die anyways. And with that, I'll see you next week. Chronos Tech, clocking out.